It begins. Virginia forms an active militia to protect the sheriffs and the citizens from unconstitutional laws. I'm going to put a link to this, people, so don't get excited if I cut you short. December 16th, 2019. Things are really getting bad in Virginia, but this group isn't going down without a fight. Earlier in the week, we reported on how lawmakers over in Virginia were threatening to use the National Guard if members of local law enforcement refused to enforce laws passed in the state that they felt violated the Second Amendment. Let's see, on Tuesday, December 10th, the Board of Supervisors from the county passed two different resolutions in light of controversial circulars or pro-gun. The first resolution declared the county to be a Second Amendment sanctuary. This is not surprising. I better zoom that in, huh? "76 out of 95 counties. Let's see, the second item on the agenda was a proposition of establishing a militia in the county. When both of the resolutions passed, the crowd cheered loudly in support of the decisions. Also, the resolutions did not exactly pass by a small margin. All the votes were unanimous, with more than 200 citizens standing by in support. Hackworth went on to state that there were 3 attorneys on board of supervisors. Many of the declarations made from other counties in Virginia were closely checked by 3 attorneys to ensure nothing important would be glossed over or left out. Two of the biggest factors in the resolution, such as those, can be boiled down to funding and prosecution. It would remove any funding for any law enforcement department that would infringe on residents' right to keep and bear arms. Unzoom this just a little bit. We're going to end this pretty soon. Our position is that Article 1, Section 13 of the Constitution of Virginia reserves the right to order militias to the localities. Therefore, counties, not the state, determine what types of arms may be carried in their territory and by whom. So we're ordering the militia by making sure everyone can own a weapon. The county has taken the militia element very seriously, as the new ordinances call for concealed weapons training for any resident of the county that can lawfully own a gun. They've also called for schools to adopt firearm safety training programs, consider the blue wave that hit the state, along with Bloomberg pouring in millions towards election. This is a massive win that shows gun owners aren't going to lie down. Okay, guys, I'm going to put a link to this. Check it out. There's more to it than what I'm going to take time to read. And I want to thank you for watching. Keep the faith, stay vigilant, stay awake, and don't let anyone tell you that you do not have the right to keep and bear arms. I don't care who you are. All those laws that Congress passed are unconstitutional, being because they are outside of the scope of powers delegated to Congress. Now, the other day, that stupid Ruth Ginsburg had to say something about Trump don't know what he's talking about because Trump's no lawyer and he don't know the law. Well, Ginsburg, you do not know the law. The framers of the Constitution were born and brought up in the atmosphere of common law and thought and spoke its vocabulary. They were familiar with other forms of government, recent and ancient, but indicated in their disclosures earlier that they considered many of them, but when it come right down to it, their conclusions they put into the form of fundamental law in a compact draft. They expressed themselves in terms of the common law, confident that they could be shortly and easily understood. Now, those people in the Supreme Court, apparently they never studied the Constitution. They only studied what other judges said about the Constitution, making the judge the law and not the Constitution. The language of the Constitution cannot be interpreted safely except by reference to the common law and by British institutions that they were when the instrument was adopted and framed. On every question of construction, let us carry ourselves back to the time when the Constitution was adopted. Recollect the spirit manifested in the debate, and instead of trying to see what meaning we can be squeezed out of the text or vented against it, conform to the probability one as it was passed. They wrote this so that every American could read the Constitution and understand what it meant. Not this twisting and turning that the Supreme Court, Congress, your Senate, and every other anti-gun, anti-American person is trying to do to it. We the people can read this and understand. We know what the law means, and they can bite the big one and hit the road because they're getting kicked out of office. Thanks for watching.